There are questions that flicker in the quiet chambers of the human mind, questions too subtle to be answered by science and too vast to be dismissed by reason. Among them, one returns with the stubborn rhythm of an ancient drum: do we choose our lives before we are born? Beneath the fragile crust of everyday life, this question stirs like a deep current, pulling at memory, intuition, and dream. The idea that the soul, in its unbodied vastness, selects its time, place, family, even its sorrows and struggles before it descends into the world, this idea, as impossible as it seems, is as old as thought itself. It is not confined to one culture, nor does it belong to a single faith. In India, the Upanishads murmur of a soul that chooses its body as a man might choose a garment, guided by karma, but also by purpose. In Plato's myth of air, the soul, before its earthly return, stands before the fates and the sirens, reviewing possible lives like a wanderer reading forgotten books. In the high Andes, among the Quechua, there are stories of spirits who meet with wise ancestors before birth, deciding what they must learn and whom they must meet. And among the Dogon of Mali, life is seen as a path agreed upon in the realm of spirit, one that unfolds with a hidden but precise design. These narratives, scattered across continents and millennia, do not arise from a shared language, but from a shared intuition. That life is not a random throw of the dice, but a pilgrimage whose hardships are neither punishments nor accidents. They suggest that before birth, in a realm unmarked by time, the soul stands before a veil, aware of what must be done, what must be endured, and what must be remembered through experience. Not all will be joyous. Some souls, it is said, choose difficulty, even tragedy, not out of masochism, but out of a longing to grow, to repair, or to serve. This is not predestination in its coldest form. Rather, it is a kind of sacred contract. Free will still moves within the form, like water within a vase. We may forget why we came, we may turn away from the path, but the path remembers us. Dreams, déjà vu, sudden affinities with strangers, irrational fears, uncanny talents, these may be the lingering fingerprints of choices made in that mysterious interval before incarnation. There are those who recall this liminal space. Across the world, testimonies emerge from children who, before the weight of language settles fully upon them, speak of a place before birth, of floating, of choosing a mother, of seeing the earth below like a luminous stage. Their words are often brushed aside as fantasy, the wild poetry of early consciousness. Yet their consistency, across language and upbringing, unsettles even the skeptic. In Japan, the concept of mumer, before-birth memory, was once quietly respected. In parts of rural Africa, elders have long listened without judgment to the strange tales of young children who remember, for a moment, what the rest of us have forgotten. In certain mystical branches of Judaism, the soul is said to be instructed by an angel before birth, and then made to forget with a gentle touch above the lip, a mark that lingers as the philtrum. But some, they say, are not completely silenced by that touch, and what of suffering? If we chose our lives, why would we choose pain? The question cuts deeply, and the answer is not simple. From the Tibetan Book of the Dead to modern accounts of near-death experiences, there emerges a whisper, that the soul sees differently than the body. What we call tragedy may be, in that higher vision, opportunity. What we flee, the soul may have approached with resolve. A disabled child may have chosen a body of limitation to cultivate patience in others, or strength in self. A woman born into violence may be there to break a cycle carried over generations. Or perhaps she came not for herself, but for one moment of grace that only she could give. These are not easy thoughts. They do not comfort in the way platitudes do. But they offer dignity, a sense that life, even in its brutality, may be purposeful. Of course, this idea carries a terrible responsibility. If I chose my life, I cannot blame it entirely on others, nor can I shrink from it. I must ask, what am I meant to learn here? Whom am I meant to love, to forgive, to challenge? The soul, in choosing, may not choose comfort. It may choose the fire, yet the mystery deepens. For even if the soul selects its life, it must forget. The forgetting is essential. Without it, there would be no authenticity, no true risk. Imagine an actor who knows the ending of the play, his suffering would be mimicry, his joy hollow. The soul agrees to forget, so that the lessons may be real, the transformations earned. And still, clues remain, buried in myth, dream, and symbol. We may not remember the moment we chose to be here. We may never fully understand why this life, why this body, why this story. But sometimes, in stillness, in the hush before sleep, or in the gaze of a stranger who feels strangely familiar, we sense a pattern too intricate to be chance. The thread was laid long before we took our first breath, and if that is so, then the world is not merely a place of struggle, but a field of sacred memory. Every pain endured may be a lesson reawakened. Every joy may be a sign that we are close to what we came to find. The soul chooses, not because it knows the path will be easy, but because it knows the journey will be worth it. Perhaps that is the most mysterious truth of all, that we are not born to escape pain, but to illuminate it, and that in some higher realm. Before time unfurled, we saw it all and still said yes.